that you go into is so different and so unmapped and so strange. And for most people, that they think, well, wow, that's amazing. But what's even more amazing is the fact that you're conscious that you're in both of them at the same time. And depending on the quantity, the dose, you can actually open your eyes in the 3D and be here and be there at the same time. And for most meditators who are strictly not wanting to touch chemicals, that's an awful lot of work to get to that stage just through meditation, a lot of work, and it's very hit and miss. So, as I mentioned in the talk, it is medicine, this stuff. It's not the way we get there. It's a thing that says, right, you need to be reminded of how this works, and we need to help you with this sacrament, with this substance, because to some degree, I've certainly found this in my life and in my studies with these special, amazing plants, is that they do show you something which isn't entirely removed from being able to do it without them once you understand the mechanism. So like anything, it's like training wheels or stabilizers, as we call them in Britain, on your bicycle when you're a little kid. You can't even go anywhere without them for a lot of people. Not everyone needs them, but a lot of people do. But there comes a point where you take them off, where you stop using them, because otherwise you look like a bit of a prick driving around at 50 with your stabilizer, with your training wheels still on, right? So it's not a good idea. And I'm sure in our travels, some of the people we've met who were heavy users of this, God bless them, it's not a brilliant life choice, that. It's not a fantastic thing to do very often. And the people who I'm aware of who use these most effectively, and that's from, the venerable Terence McKenna to other people like Lorenzo Haggerty, who I met in Los Angeles 18 months ago, and many other people on and off the sort of public arena, who I won't name any others because not everybody's happy to advertise what they do. But all of them share one observance with this, and that is, if you are participating in this kind of experience, you do it infrequently and you do it with a lot of respect.
Absolutely.
So that immediately takes out 99% of the drug-taking recreational audience, because they're not doing it with respect and they're not doing it infrequently. So like any medicine, if you start to abuse it, it's going to mess you up and it's going to break things inside you mentally and physically. So that has to be said straight away. But yeah, sorry, I mean, you're saying a really interesting thing. I should let you talk more about this because these experiences are so precious or whatever. I mean, one of the things that you pointed out, Tom, was that it is such a short experience. Did you find that was beneficial as opposed to the sort of 8-hour mushroom experience?
I felt it was tremendously beneficial because I went into it knowing that it was a short acting experience, that I would be right back. And what it did for me, for my whole psyche, was to show me that completely other realm, and it gave me the knowing that it was there, which has allowed me to get closer to that place without the drugs through my own meditation and my own practices, through the Yigong and through the other things that I do. It basically, it cracked the door open for me, so that now for me to go through that door into those places, I can locate the door first of all, and I know how to push it open now. Now, to get completely into that area where I was, I haven't got there through pure meditation yet, into that same sort of realm.
Yeah.
But I've been standing at the veil quite a few times.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I described it in conversation the other day actually with somebody, to say that I mean, the new kind of sexy word for psychedelics is entheogens. I don't know if you guys have come across that word very much. Yeah. And I think it's a distinct move away from saying psychedelics, because that's too much associated with the 60s, and
It has its negative
yeah,
connotations,
it
yes.
does. And even guys like Timothy Leary, who did some questionable things and also did some excellent things, in the mainstream, that's a negative. And you're just talking about Jimi Hendrix going off his tits on LSD and doing crazy songs, you know. And in the mainstream, that's a negative, and it's not a serious substance that anyone should ever do anything with as work or for discovery or for scholarly endeavor or exploration. That is left to the indigenous tribes peoples of the jungles in most people's minds,
Right.
and it's all a bit, you know, hit and miss and a bit patchy. So we have to bring this conversation into contemporary circles, and it's been in contemporary circles for a long time, at least 50 years in a studied manner, and you can research that and look into it. But it's so niche, so tiny, the people who are aware of this stuff, that it's easy to forget how many people have absolutely no idea about any of these such things. I mean, salvia is a very interesting one for me. There are so many, there are literally hundreds of these substances, but salvia in particular, because it's still legal, basically, which is
Right.
interesting. And
Yeah.
it's not very recreationally a sociable thing to do. So, you know, 25-year-olds on a Friday night in somebody's apartment are not really getting a lot of benefit from this, because it essentially just knocks you out for 10 minutes and then you're back again. And if you're not doing it in a carefully laid out manner, it's not even a very pleasant experience if you don't know what you're doing. It's like, you know, anything else. If you go into the wilderness with no shoes and socks on and no, you know, knife on your belt, and you know, you're going to have a bad time. But if you equip yourself properly, you can have a stunningly brilliant time, and it's just the same. So salvia, I mean, the name Salvia divinorum is really indicating, by its name, it's like diviner's sage, and it was traditionally used for divination, for seeing, and for healing. And there have been a few studies done on it about its healing properties in particular, but just for the purposes of this conversation, its ability to provide knowing, as you say, Tom, is very significant, because that's the difference between an idea and an experience, is that once you bring something into your felt experience, you don't have to theorize about other realities. You don't have to wonder about them and have this kind of Christian faith in it. You've actually seen it, and you felt it, and you've smelt it and heard it. And it's undeniable that if you go deeply enough and you really push out, because it's always a bit weird to do that because we've never seen such things in our normal lives. But if you really push out into that fourth density, because that's where it's showing you, the only available is the one up, in this case, a fourth density. If you push out into that, then when you come back, because you've done it in an intelligent, harmonious, and well intended fashion, you're going to be able to integrate that into your worldview and into your philosophy. And as you say, it's going to do something beneficial to your psyche. It's actually going to inform you at a higher level of what is actually going on around you and how things are put together. And for me, it's a very humbling experience, because it actually, rather than, as some people might fear, makes you want to escape this place and just go there, it actually makes you appreciate this place even more in some ways, particularly the natural environment.
I agree 100% with that.
Yeah, it's funny because I was gonna try the salvia, and I went through my routine, and I have a way of asking, my higher self and my spiritual guides, and I got a direct like no at the time of trying the salvia.
Yeah, I don't. I took that as you just aren't ready for that yet, Ramon.
Yeah, no, no, I took it the same way because it it reminds me of the days of college when you took a recreation and really didn't know what you were getting into, and to save yourself that bad trip. But as far as a very positive thing I got out of one time was that there was this